Good afternoon, everybody. Wyatt here with K25 News. Hope you're having a wonderful night, and I'm glad you're here with us. Breaking news from the FDA today is they approved BTI's brain bridge for use in humans ages 18 and older. For those of you not familiar with Brain Bridge, it's Brain Technology Incorporated, or BTI's, fourth iteration of a device called BrainLink. It's centered around increasing the speed and accuracy of the information we send and receive from our brain to the rest of our body. BTI received several critical reviews 4 years ago when it first started experimenting with cattle, as over half died mere seconds after the device was first turned on. Joining us over the phone is Chief Engineer on the BrainBridge team, Matthew Dower. Good afternoon, Matthew. Bit of an exciting day for your team at BTI today.
Good afternoon to you as well. This is a big day for my team, and an even bigger day for BTI, as we release new technology to the people.
To start things off, what's the difference between the current Brain Bridge and the previous Brain Link?
I'm glad this came up because we didn't address this correctly in our press conferences. BrainLink was our original name, but we changed it to BrainBridge simply because it fit better.
You've been given FDA approval for the use of BrainBridge. Do you have any words for the people skeptical of your device, given BrainLink's failures in the past?
So, we had a very difficult time getting the device tuned properly in its second phase. And we certainly learned a lot about BrainBridge in that phase. The major issue we faced here was getting the device exactly where we wanted it with the machinery we were using to place it. So in the third phase, we made significant changes to the device and how it talks to the different parts of the brain. We made several tweaks to the machinery used to implant BrainBridge and had great results in cattle. So we moved to human trials with great success as well. The latest iteration has gotten rid of most complications with BrainBridge.
What complications can the public still expect with BrainBridge?
The biggest issue with BrainBridge right now is how your immune system responds to the physical chip system being there. We have designed a special coating for the device that keeps this in check for most people, so the only side effect they might receive is a rash around the operation site and some mild tenderness in that area for a couple of days. If for some reason you have a more active or aggressive immune system, then you might get some flu-like symptoms for a couple of days, fever or chills, sore throat, runny or stuffed nose, body aches, headache, and fatigue, but this is setting at around 0.5%, and when open to the public we're expecting this to reach around 1%. The worst reaction we have observed so far was 2 days of mild flu symptoms, and nothing more.
Given the nature of BrainBridge, how intrusive of an operation will it be?
So we have made great advances in the way we insert BrainBridge. A small 1-inch square will be shaved on the top of the head. This will be the site of the operation. Next, we drill a small hole, around the size of a pen tip, in which a machine will insert 20 wires into the brain, and the implant itself between the skull and skin. Before the machine disconnects, it confirms all the connections are made and are in the correct position. Finally, we close, stitch, and bandage the wound. We run a few more checks, then you're good to go. All of this is done without the risks of anesthesia and on outpatient basis, in and out in under an hour and getting faster each day.
What exactly should a person expect post-implant in terms of brain function?
The way I like to explain this is like a highway. Your brain normally is like a regular highway, one lane going in each direction. The traffic on that highway may be fine, but you get a bunch of cars on the highway, and it slows down. Now imagine, we upgraded the highway to function more like an interstate. 2 lanes in each direction. Suddenly we can get more traffic on the highway before it becomes slower. Now keep in mind, that explanation is highly simplified. But a person post-implant would see the greatest improvements in multitasking, allowing people to more evenly split their brain power when doing multiple tasks.
Again, that was Chief Engineer at BTI, Matthew Dower, answering questions about BrainBridge. We thank you for your time. News just in, the White House is going to be having a press briefing any second now, presumably regarding BTI. I believe we have an eye in the room. Yes, we have Brent in the room. Let's listen in. Good afternoon. As you're all probably aware, this afternoon the FDA fully approved BTI's brain bridge for use in adults ages 18 and older. The White House had a small group working with BTI to help test and improve BrainBridge to ensure it was safe and well above the recommended specifications for FDA approval. This being said, over the next 5 years, the White House plans to equip all federal government employees with a BrainBridge device. All federal personnel will be required to either get the implant or have a plan in place to receive the implant by 2040. All state and local government personnel will be encouraged, but will not be required to receive the implant. Newly incoming military personnel will be the first priority, followed closely by currently deployed assets between deployment cycles. As for all other government personnel, an online portal has been created to help department management schedule appointments for maximum convenience as openings arise. With that, we'll open up for a few questions.
Are you worried at all about any possible side effects, given BTI's history? It makes me nervous for so many people crucial to the success of the US.
So, as I stated earlier, we had a small group work alongside BTI to ensure the brain bridge is stable, safe, and secure. This group had nothing bad to say about the current iteration of the device and agree that brain bridge is the safest device of its kind on the market. The side effects are no worse than the side effects seen from vaccines already required for federal workers, so it's not an issue.
Putting the device aside, why does the White House think requiring federal workers to get this tech is a good idea? I surely don't need to remind them of the fallout in 2021.
Look, this technology, when given to everyday citizens, might make them more productive. But when given to people whose lives depend on every little detail being assessed as quickly as possible, it's hard not to see the advantages of this device. We are aware, however, that some people might not trust this tech and opt out, and we recognize this. We will do our best to reorganize assets in a way to make everybody happy. This being said, BrainBridge will be a life-saving technology in the hands of our troops, and the White House is taking a firm stance on this.
How exactly will this be used with our troops, and how do you know they won't malfunction?
Right. Well, we obviously can't get into how we plan on using BrainBridge specifically. The small group that we used to help test the BrainBridge was active duty members, and we are all positive, both the White House and the group itself, that the technology is ready to be deployed en masse.
Will the device and procedure be provided to federal workers, or will they be required to pay for it?
Yes, if you are required to get the implant for work, it will be at no cost to you. However, if you are not required to get the implant for work, it will not currently be covered. We hope to extend who is covered, but for now, it's only people who are required to get the implant for work.
Just talking federal employees, that's a bill of over $2 billion, and if you extend that to state and local governments, that bill could be nearly $25 billion. How do you plan on paying for it?
So we worked out a deal with BTI for the device for our federal workers at a severely discounted price. The same deal has not been agreed to for the remaining government workforce, but we hope to negotiate that further.
Can you elaborate on the discounted price?
I can't release the price, but we're expecting a bill of less than a quarter of your first evaluation.
How do you plan on keeping our troops safe in cyberspace? Being the first nation to implement such a technology to active duty troops will surely put a target on their backs.
As the leading military superpower in the world, we always have a target on our backs, no matter the case. That being said, We realized the risks, evaluated them, and have implemented a couple new solutions to harden our security. I promise our troops are as safe as they have ever been in the field, by a long shot. That will be our last question of the day. I wanted to let you all know that since this is kind of a one-of-a-kind announcement, we have opened a portal on whitehouse.gov that media outlets can reach out to in order to get more information for their news broadcasts. Thank you for your time. There you have it, straight from the White House Press Secretary Ryan Holt with a short briefing about BTI's brain bridge. The White House now requiring all active military personnel to get the implant, and all federal employees are required to have a plan in place to get the implant by 2040. The White House also suggesting state and local government also get the implant as well, but not requiring them to do so at this point. When asked by the media, the White House said they are not worried about the dark past of the device and are working closely with BTI to ensure the implant is safe and reliable for our troops and government officials, and state, quote, "I promise our troops are as safe as they have ever been in the field by a long shot." When pressed about the price of the device, the White House states they have worked out a deal with BTI for a severely discounted price, but was unable to disclose us the actual number. The implant will be covered for all of those who are required to get the implant, and they hope to negotiate further for the non-required officials in the future. Quite an interesting briefing from the White House this afternoon. Let us know on our socials your opinion and whether or not BrainBridge will be on your list in the future. This has been Wyatt with a breaking news broadcast from K25 News. Hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching.